When someone says it runs in my blood, it's generally a good thing. But for the folks of one small town, their blood is the cause of a truly bizarre condition that gives everyone the blues.
It's 1820, and a man named Martin Fugate leaves France for America. He marries a woman named Elizabeth, and they move to the town of Troublesome Creek, Kentucky.
They start a family. They have 7 children. 3 of their children are born perfectly healthy, normal. The other 4 are blue.
And I'm not talking a slight pastel blue here. They come out head to toe blue.
Now, you have to remember, this is an incredibly small town in the mid-1800s, before cars, before railroads, and you have farmers living on these vast tracts of land, so there aren't exactly a lot of dating options in the area.
After just a few generations, most of the people in Troublesome Creek are now blue.
By the mid-1900s, the blue Fugates become a target of mockery in Troublesome Creek, not just because they're blue, but because being blue is a sign that they all come from the same family.
As news spreads about this unique town, experts are baffled. How did these people turn blue in the first place?
Is it a mutation? Is it a curse from God? Some people think they might be aliens. It's that bizarre.
In 1962, 2 of the Fugate descendants decide that they have had enough, and they go looking for help. And they turn to the University of Kentucky, where they find Dr. Madison Cowine.
After running a series of blood tests, the doctor has the unbelievable answer.
It all traces back to Martin and Elizabeth, the very first 2 in the family in Troublesome Creek.
He thinks Martin and Elizabeth had a very rare recessive genetic trait that leads to a condition known as methemoglobinemia.
Methemoglobinemia is a condition where the oxygen molecules are bound more tightly to the hemoglobin, leading to skin discoloration.
Recessive genes often stay hidden, but when 2 people both have it, like Elizabeth and Martin, it increases the odds for their children.
And then, because of the inbreeding over the generations, this gene persisted.
This is a pretty rare condition where fewer than 1 in a million individuals have the recessive gene. So in the case where 2 individuals have the same condition, it's pretty incalculable.
In a somewhat ironic turn, Dr. Cowine treats them with blue medicine.
The doctor gives them a compound called methylene blue dye. Now, this dye helps red blood cells to release oxygen to tissues throughout the body more effectively.
Shockingly, within hours of ingesting the treatment, the Fugate's blue skin turns pink, ending a century of trouble in Troublesome Creek.
Around the same time, the population is growing rapidly, people are moving in, people are moving out, they diversified the gene pool in Troublesome Creek, and today you can say that the blue Fugates no longer have the blues.
On average, a person spends 1/3 of their lives sleeping. For most, that's a good thing, a peaceful slumber to recharge for the day ahead. But for one 19th century British girl, even a solid 8 hours doesn't seem to be enough.
A little 11-year-old girl named Ellen Sadler is living with her large family in the tiny town of Turville in the outskirts of London. And like a lot of families in their town, they're very poor. So little Ellen is sent to work to help feed the family.
At first, everything's normal. But her boss starts to notice that she's getting a little bit sleepy on the job. After 4 months, she gets too lethargic and he fires her and sends her home.
She goes home and now she's acting even more tired. So she goes to bed and immediately falls asleep.
Little Ellen Sadler sleeps and sleeps and sleeps. After an entire day, she still hasn't woken up, and her mother begins to worry.
Ellen's mother tries everything to wake her up. Splashes of water, pricking with pins.
Nothing works. And the local doctor named Henry Heyman examines her, but he's totally baffled.
According to local newspapers, Ellen continues to sleep. She sleeps for days, she sleeps for weeks, she sleeps for months and months and months, and a whole year goes by.
Of course, news gets out, and this becomes quite a spectacle. People come from all over the world to see the sleeping girl of Turville.
This little girl basically becomes a tourist attraction, and it's not just gawkers. Doctors come to visit her, and even they're stumped.
Almost 2 years go by, and she still hasn't woken up. So a reporter from the Daily Telegraph out of London pays her a visit to see if this could possibly be real. After seeing her himself, he returns to London and writes that he's totally puzzled by the sleeping girl.
Many try to help, including the Prince of Wales, who would later become King Edward.
This might sound strange, but there was actually a historical belief in the power of royalty to cure illness.
But not even a royal visit rouses this real-life sleeping beauty.
Now remember, this family is very poor. So when the visitors start offering donations to help, they gladly accept. The problem, of course, is that this starts a speculation that this is all a hoax.
The government actually sends in investigators, but nothing is found. No charges are filed, and Ellen keeps sleeping.
By 1880, Ellen has been asleep for 9 years. And then, on a crisp September morning, she wakes up.
She was 11 years old when she fell asleep, and now she's a 21-year-old young woman, and she remembers nothing. By November, she's almost fully recuperated, except for one thing.
She doesn't wake up as a mature 21-year-old. She wakes up acting like an 11-year-old.
According to the family, it takes her several years to adjust to the new world around her, but she slowly starts catching up.
She finds herself a job, and in 1886, she even gets married and goes on to have 6 kids. According to records, she lives at least into her 50s, kind of like nothing had ever happened.
When mysterious afflictions occur, there's always a desperate search for the cause. But what if the cause were as simple as watching TV?
In Japan, on December 16, 1997, this incredibly unusual scenario plays out. All over the country, children are suddenly being rushed to hospitals. They're having seizures, they're having convulsions, they're having headaches, they're having dizziness. Some of them are nauseous. And it's happening in huge numbers. There are 600 cases initially reported.
People think that it might be something in the water or some viral pathogen spreading through the air. It's really unclear what the causes are.
As news of a mysterious child illness spreads, a chilling through line appears. They had all just watched the same broadcast of the animated series, Pokémon.
Pokémon was a card game that was adapted for TV in 1997, and this animated series becomes a pop culture sensation.
Everybody in Japan seems to be watching Pokémon. There are about 127 million people that live in Japan. 4.6 million viewers would watch Pokémon every night. Not just kids, people.
But on the night of December 16th, Pokémon is causing widespread panic.
Parents are terrified. There is a real, genuine fear that watching Pokémon could be dangerous.
An investigation's underway in Japan into why more than 600 children suffered from convulsions and vomiting.
The next day, TV Tokyo suspends the series, but not before 12,000 children are hospitalized.
As Pokémon shock quickly becomes world news, parents wonder why this adorable anime character is sending children into violent seizures.
The episode in question that was being watched had a pretty egregious use of strobe light effects.
What these strobing lights can do is activate a condition called photosensitive epilepsy.
Photosensitive epilepsy is a neurological condition triggered by flashing lights, strobe patterns, which can lead to dizziness, nausea, and vomiting, sometimes really violent convulsions.
But this theory has a problem.
This episode wasn't the first anime show to ever use that kind of effect, and there had never been anything close to this kind of outcome before. And also, statistically speaking, there is no way nearly 13,000 Pokémon fans in Japan all suffer from this condition.
And sure enough, after examining the patients, only a handful of the thousands of kids that were rushed to the hospitals actually do have photosensitive epilepsy. So what accounts for all those other hospitalizations from all those other kids?
Many psychologists eventually agree on a more likely scenario: mass child hysteria.
Once the hysteria dies down, nearly all of the children make full recoveries. 4 months later, TV Tokyo allows Pokémon to go back on the air.
This quickly becomes, when you look at all the factors, a really wild and kind of important example of absolute social persuasion, where people found out about a story and then kind of became part of it.